War to end all wars, or maybe even the Great War? Well, there are reasons behind those names. With the advancements in tech and the weapons that they used, there were higher casualty rates than previous wars. The improvements of firearms, the artillery and the chemicals that they ended up using, and the attack strategy and the vehicles that they used were all contributing factors to World War I and why it was so great. Uh, Touching up on the machine guns, there were the German Maxim. It was water cooled and it shot 500 rounds per minute, which was very significant at the time because no other gun was able to do that. Um, there was improvisions and weight reduced guns to the more modern guns like the Mauser. And then there were new guns that were kind of being implemented into the war, like the flamethrower. It was a direct quote, "It was put to initial wartime use against the French in the southeastern sector of the Western Front from October 1914, although its use was sporadic and went largely unreported." That was from firstworldwar.com. There was two different kinds of flamethrowers, and there was a smaller, more portable use that every soldier could use, and there was also a larger, it needed more assistance to use. The smaller one was called the Klein Flammenwerfer, and the larger one was called the Gross Flammenwerfer. Talking about artillery rounds, they were being able to fire longer distances and overall more deadly. Another big thing was AA guns, anti-aircraft guns that were being put into use. Airplanes were a really significant part in taking out enemy fortifications, and the use of AA guns on defense was very important for them. A newer style kind of fighting was chemical warfare. There were three main gases that were used in battling kind of like for defense and for attack, and those three that could actually kill were chlorine gas, phosgene, and mustard gas. Chlorine gas was mainly irritable, and at high doses it could kill somebody. Phosgene was 6 times more deadly than chlorine, and it was 85% of the casualties for chemical warfare in World War I. The Allied mainly used those. And then mustard gas was dubbed king of the battle gases, and it estimated about 120,000 casualties. And few were direct deaths though, because the lasting effects were the result of it, of the death, but few were direct only because of the lower concentration on the battlefield. And that was from sciencehistory.org. With the chemical warfare, it was mainly used up against the trench style of fighting. And so trench warfare was the use of digging trenches and putting barbed wire and other obstacles in the way to defend a position very strategically. To go up against trench warfare, there was tanks, landship, marks 1 through 5, male and female. They were designed to flatten enemy fortifications, and it was developed to be able to cross trenches, resist small arms fire, travel over difficult terrain, carry supplies, and to capture fortified enemy positions. Direct quote from historyhit.com. The male version had 2 6-pounder naval guns, and the female had 2 machine guns on it, and they were both British tanks. One thing that I learned about my past was my great-grandpa Charles. He was in World War I. He drove ammunition truck for Company A, and he had the rank of wagoner. And I learned that over 30,000 men from North Dakota fought, and about 1,300 died. To conclude, why World War I was so great was the improving of weapons was very significant. The artillery and the chemical warfare and the attack strategy and defense and the vehicles that they used were all significant factors in World War I. And World final war in the world with its immense devastation. That's why it was nicknamed the war to end all